guys, so got some pretty nice stuff in the trunk here. We got some Corolla Altis taillights, so let's get these things open real quick. I already took a peek at them just to make sure everything looked good. But so, and you're probably wondering, why do you have Corolla Altis taillights when you have the V-Land taillights? Well, one thing, the V-Land taillights, they have been nice. I've had them on for like a year now. And if anybody wants them, just let me know, because I will sell them to you for a pretty good deal. But one of the biggest things I hated about them was the inner taillight does not light up. It's just fake. I assumed when I bought it that it did, but they do not. So these are a lot nicer quality. Not to say that those are not nice quality, but the LEDs in these are a lot nicer. These come from, I believe they're Taiwan made, so, and that's a lot of Corolla accessories and stuff. Toyota accessories come from Taiwan. But these are a lot nicer, and they have the wiring harness, so that way you can splice this in and get lights around the outside here as well as the inside. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to wire these up. I don't know if they're plug and play or if they require some type of like splicing of wires of somewhere. And I ordered these off of eBay, so I will put a link down below if you guys are interested. And from what I have seen now, like when I bought these V-Land taillights, they were a lot cheaper than these Altis taillights. I think when I bought my V-Land taillights, they were like $160, $50, somewhere around there. And these were like $300. So now these Altis style taillights are practically the same price. Alright, so yeah, here you go. Here's a quick look at these. So they come with a nice rubber gasket, and this should plug right into the OEM harness. Everything's all LEDs on these except for the reverse light. The reverse light is just a normal bulb. So I will probably just upgrade that to LEDs as well, to a nice white one. The only thing I just got to figure out how to splice in the inner tail light. I was hoping these were going to be plug and play, but I don't know if they're going to be or not. Because like the inner tail light is plug and play. I mean the outer tail light is plug and play. But this comes with a power and a ground, it looks like. There is a plug here. I don't know how. Oh, this is just a plug for. Oh, that's just a plug for the reverse bulb. I thought it was actually a plug to plug the lights in, but I guess we're gonna have to splice them in. But shouldn't be too hard because I already have the bottom one spliced in, so I guess we'll probably just splice in. Let's take these old ones off and then start putting the new ones on. Like I said, this should be pretty simple other than splicing them in. Alright, so I'm going to give everything a quick wash down real quick. Right now the pollen is just ridiculous. I literally just washed my car last week and it's just filled with pollen. There's these little clips holding the liner in. You're just going to pop them off. So here's the plug we're going to need to get rid of. And now there's going to be 3 10mm bolts. Just push on it, and here you go. This one is out. All right, I obviously got the plastic wrap still on here, but I just want to give you guys a quick before. So one thing that I like about the V-Land headlights better than these is they're like smoked out around where the chrome is at, versus these, the chrome kind of sticks out. So, but other than that, they're practically like the same identical like red color. It's just the inner part of the turn signal is blacked out. Also too, on these, the turn signal is actually a bulb. it's not an LED. So it just flashes and makes it look like they're individual LEDs, while these are actually LEDs. All right, so now that we got the old one out, I cleaned up around there. Now we'll tighten the bolts up. Alright, so now if we were literally just doing these taillights without doing the inner ones, we are pretty much done. I connected the connector back in, they plug right up, and that's how that's done. Pretty simple. Let's get some before and after real quick. Obviously you can see how much more chrome that one is. But let me hit the brakes and then turn on the hazards and we'll see the difference between the turn signals. Alright, so I don't know if you can see it on camera. That light is so much brighter than this one. But again, yeah, you could change this out to a brighter LED one. It's just right now an incandescent bulb. But those ones, straight from how they are, way brighter than what the other ones were. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit more complicated than I expected it to be. But because, like I said, this is the only power ground you get. So something else too that I don't like about these, but I mean it'll be fine, is I'm gonna wire these to be with the headlights, so they'll come on with the headlights, but they will not activate with the brake lights. In order to activate with the brake lights, you would need to, so let's just explain this wiring here real quick. I was going through. So you got, obviously you got your black is ground, your green is your constant with your headlight, and then the red is your brake light. So obviously, so you turn on your headlights, your brake lights will come on, but then you press your brake and they will get brighter. This only has two connectors, so I'm gonna wire it in line with the black and green here, so that way I'll get a ground and then these will come on with my headlights. And I will end up putting one of these harness or one of these plugs in here so I can unplug it with it. I actually did that with my old headlight or tail light. I spliced in my bumper lights and I spliced them in to here, so I ended up just splicing everything in. I had my normal one here and then this went off to my bumper lights. So we're gonna have to do that onto here, but I'm gonna have to do that twice. So if that makes sense to you, because I still want to keep my bumper lights, so I have to have one of these to go to my bumper lights, and then I have to have another one of these going to the inner taillights. So I'm gonna run these in line with each other, so that way I only have to worry about one plug, well, one splicing into one taillight, while the other taillight will just stay on the car, and this one will have all the splices on it to activate them all at once. So I'm gonna splice these two together. Underneath there, I will put a plug there in the middle, so that way I can unplug them and take them apart if I need to, so they're not stuck to the car. I've learned my lesson with the front of my car. When I did some of my lights, I just spliced them all together and I couldn't actually disconnect them without cutting them. So I'm gonna add a plug there and then a plug here, so that way I can plug these in and out, and then I'm gonna add another plug. Alright, and I also bought these too, so I'm curious how well these are gonna work. These are heat shrink with solder in the middle. So you just take a heat gun and you just heat it up, it'll melt the solder and heat shrink around your connector. So I'm hoping that this will save me a lot of time and also make the install as clean as possible. But the worst thing I hate is I have to cut these connectors on a brand new taillight. So I'm going to have to cut these and then splice into them. I just want to give you guys a brief update on what I have done so far. All I know is I've just created a mess, but other than that, I want to talk to you about how I spliced everything in so far. I do not have everything spliced in. Well, I should say I have the lights completely spliced in. I do not have my bumper lights spliced in though, so I still have to do that. But if you are just going to do these lights, I just wanted to give you guys like a quick overview on what I did, and hopefully it'll make sense to you. So I took these two lights, and I took the two lights and I just took them and I took a connector, soldered on a connector on both sides, matched up green, black. I used blue on these plugs. It sucks not having the same exact color as your wire, but I used blue to green, black to black, and then blue to green, black to black. So I connected that, and then as they come over to the other light, I cut the light, cut the other wire, then spliced in. You can see I took each end from each wire, spliced them in, and then I had to get my own wire. And all I have is red. I had 16 gauge red wire, so not the best color to be using here, but I spliced them in to here. I coated one of them with black electrical tape just so I could easily identify the difference between power and ground, and I ran those to another connector. I spliced that connector in, and then I took these two wires right here, green and black, I cut them, spliced them to each other, and then spliced the connector to that. So now I can unplug this connector to separate these from the light if I need to, and then I put a connector in between these lights so that way I can separate the two lights and pull them out individually. So that is how I did this, and now I'm gonna end up cutting these wires right here on the, because it's stupid that they put connectors here, but they didn't put the connectors just to match up to these lights. It would have been like a million times easier. So, but now I spliced on this side of the connector, so now I'm gonna go on this side of the connector. I'm gonna take all three of these lights, or all three of these wires, cut them, and then I'm gonna splice in another plug. And this is specifically if you're gonna have the bumper lights. So if you have these, you're gonna have to splice this in. And if you're curious, I have my connector somewhere down here. So yeah, I have my connector for my bumper lights under here. So all I have to do is just cut here, splice in one of these, and then we can plug it in. So I know it's a lot to do, but in the long run, it'll look really nice. So honestly, it's always the little things that are gonna make such a big difference. Like these lights, do they need to light up on the inside? No. But will them lighting up on the inside look a lot better? I'd say so. So yeah, let me finish this and then we will take a look at the final product. Alright guys, so I got both these connectors soldered on here. I do have to say these connectors, these solder shrink wrap, whatever they're called, solder seal wire connectors are like so amazing, because I mean I'm able to do 3 of these at once. I just push them all onto the wire, and then I literally just get the heat gun and I literally just heat it up. I heat it around it and it melts the solder, and also has like this weird whatever coloring like this is. It's also like a, once that gets hot too, it also melts around the wire to help create a much more weather tight seal. So, but yeah, this worked pretty nicely. And I'd say it looks pretty decent. I mean, it's not the cleanest. I wish all the wires were the same color, but I mean, it still looks nice. You still got your factory harness here, and then we're gonna have the harness that goes to the bumper lights, and then you have the harness that goes to the inner taillights. So now that we got all that done, now we can actually finish putting all these onto the car and getting it all set up. I got everything all hooked up, just kind of roughed in place. Like this one's hanging, everything else is here. But let's turn on the headlights. Now we can see we got lights here, here, on this tail light and coming from underneath here. And then also got lights coming from here and here. And now I'm gonna point this towards there because I was using this as a test. So now we can look back there. When I press the brake, that gets brighter. So, and like I said, the way these are going to be wired is these are just going to be a constant on when you turn your headlights on. These will also be constant on, but also turn on with your brake lights. So it's dumb that they only give you 2 connectors or 2 wires to run these, and they don't give you one to hook up to your brake light. So now that we finally got all this all spliced in and everything works, now it's time to button up everything and actually get a good feel of what these look like. All right, and when you guys do this, don't do what I did. And I spliced everything into this taillight on the inner side, and I thought I was doing it on this taillight. So now everything here, this cord was supposed to go down to here, that taillight, which is plenty of room to get down to here, but not enough room to go across, down, and over. So the easy way I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to cut this cord off, extend it, and then run as much wire as I need to, so that way I can go up under here, down here, and then down to that taillight. So yeah, make sure you splice into the right one. I was assuming I was doing it on that one, on this one the whole time, but I guess when I put it on the car, it's not that one. So yep, so let's cut this and extend it, and then we should be good to go, because this still doesn't matter. This will still connect either way to splice them together, but this one needs to get cut and extended longer. So I got them fully installed, and they are actually looking really nice. So I don't know, what do you guys think? They light up on here now, so everything's looking really nice, seamless. And now let's go turn on her. Alright, and then there's the hazards, the turn signals. They look really nice. They're a nice ember, like yellow orange color. So that all looks really nice, and everything should be all hooked up with my brake lights. And when I go step on the brakes, the bottom one should flash, and then the upper one should light up. Alright, and I would show you the reverse lights, but I'm actually having a problem with my reverse lights, so because right now my car is in reverse and the keys are on and there's no lights going on. I do have everything all plugged in, everything looks good, but I think it's, honestly, it's me, because right here I have a splice in for when I splice in for the backup camera. I don't know if this is a good enough connection now, and I do just need to verify all my connections are good, and hopefully that will fix my backup problem too. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I want to redo a lot of the wiring that I did, because this, I mean, they were like crimp and push in connectors, but obviously they're not the cleanest looking. So I want to switch over to those solder connectors that I have, and then hopefully that'll fix my backup lights. All right, well, I cleaned up my connections, got everything all soldered in and everything like that, and the backup lights are still not working. So I'm not sure if it's like there's nothing triggering the backup lights. I looked, I cannot find any fuses whatsoever, but no matter, I put the car in reverse, the backup camera doesn't even try to show up, and neither do the lights. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but I do know I have something wrong. I do want to fix that, because I know my backup camera has been acting very finicky for like the last 6 months or so. So I do definitely want to try to figure that out and get it running good. I was assuming that it was actually my backup camera, but now seeing that my backup lights are not coming on, I think I might have another problem. Alright guys, well that's going to be a wrap for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.